Good morning. I hope that you can hear me second time around. I do apologise to those of you which were on the other live version a few moments ago and there was no audio at all. So yes, we've got it plugged in now. And all I'm saying is that. Right, let's get on to today's RC Coffee Chat. Good morning to you. Right. So let's start this with apologies. I am running a little bit late this morning. You will find out why in a few moments' time. Completely not RC related. It's just one of those things which comes up in life and we need to sort out. So a bit frustrating and glad to hear it's nice and loud and clear. Thank you, gents, as well. I kind of looked up at the chat a minute ago and my face just sank and you saw my reaction a few moments ago. Right, it's a Turnigy mic. No, it's adult orientated. I'm not going on what I call that microphone. Let's not even go there. Right. Today's topics. What have we got on today's topics for you? Topic number one. And by the way, these are completely out of order and I'm completely unprepared. We will roll with the notes which we've got and go from there. Now, topic number one is a HobbyKing claim update. Very interesting journey with this one, and I'm holding fast on it. We had the Reptile S670, which was the review, which was released yesterday. We are going to have a chit chat about that. The Skymunter build progress. I have a wing here right next to me at the moment. It's huge, and I have some little sticky labels as perhaps a non label to go on the model, but just amused me this morning. We'll have a chat about sticky labels, I'm sure. Gone as well, a topic for you. Something has gone from the orifice. We'll be able to chat about the FTC Hunter. What else we got? Oh, 2 motors, baby! Looking forward to that one. You can blame Bill for that one. Thanks, Bill. So we'll have a look at that one very, very shortly. We will be having a chat about the ZOHD Darts as well. Some of the things which I found so far, and we got a pen and review on that one coming up shortly as well. Night Flying Adventures. If those of you which haven't seen the Night Flying Adventures, which I'm sure most of you already have, we will have a chat about flying at night, and we'll also have a chat about the Night Eagle, because that one was a bit of a mixed bag. It did really well and then completely crapped out. Interesting discussion to be had there as well. And good morning to everybody who's live on here live from this morning. You can see that down the right hand side of the screen, and yes, very loud and very English this morning, 7:07. Right, so let's get into topic number one. Again, like I said, these topics are not in kind of the order which I would normally do them. These are on my note form, and normally I would squeeze some perhaps a little bit negative like this maybe further down, and so it's a more of a balanced episode. But just following on from last week, as many of you may remember, is that I wasn't that infused by the HobbyKing return process and being told incorrectly that if I cancelled the PayPal case, that would stop the possibility of a double refund being made by PayPal at PayPal by HobbyKing, which was utter rubbish. So at this present moment in time, is my heels are dug in, and the case has now been escalated to a PayPal claim, of which will get resolved by the 8th of December. Now, it's not a case. It's not because we're talking like hundreds of dollars. We're talking like $10. They offered $65 and something back just for the products themselves, ignoring the postage, which is illegal as part of the UK distance selling regulations. And they should be refunding $74. So we're only talking $10. So we are getting into a principal point piece here, which is that I don't like being given incorrect information or being lied to. Remember, one of the founding factors, the 3 founding factors for this YouTube channel were never lie, be humble, and be me. Okay, that big one is that first one is a real big one for me, and I'm sticking my heels in. It's gone to a claim, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to get our money back. Now, there's a chap called Rescue Rob. Now, it does set alarm bells when you have a guy called Rescue Rob, or his nickname is Rescue Rob, because a company needs to sort out customer service. So, Rescue Rob, fantastic, in short. But that is not part of the process here. Remember, all this stemmed right back to the inability for HobbyKing to cancel an order with plenty of time given, and I'm also, of course, additional £11.99 out of pocket, which take the piss. It's actually the wife which is out of pocket, not myself. Obviously, I've paid her now, but I can tell you that was not good. So it's not been a very good process, which I've been through with HobbyKing, and I know that many of you will say that it's an isolated incident and things like that, but it's like you've chosen like the worst person to do it to, you know. And I very rarely, again, that's the first issue which I've raised with HobbyKing since probably back at the AXN, which was a faulty ESC, which I frankly just gave up upon, and I know many of you have expressed the attitude towards HobbyKing as being it's just a risk of buying from them that sometimes you get some crap, but no, this was slightly different. This was an order which should have been cancelled but was carried on the scent. If I'd refused it at the door, I would have not been out of pocket. We potentially would have not had any of these issues. So yeah, topic number one, I do apologise, it's a little bit depressing, but I will keep you updated on this one. At the moment it's not in my hands, it's not in HobbyKing's hands or Hextronic or Lucky, whatever it is, Limited, they are in the UK. It's with PayPal, in short. So yeah, bit of a downer on that one. So let's just make things a little bit more cheerier. Let's go to the Reptile S670. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen the review on this one. It got published last night. It is a cool little wing. I did have to take the adult orientated stickers off the front. I didn't feel that they were perhaps appropriate for a review video, but I did leave that one on, so I did laugh at myself a couple of times when I watched the replay back. It's a nice little wing. I tried to do a criticism sandwich yesterday, which was that I wanted to make a good point at the beginning, pass you the bad points in the middle, and then there was a summary at the end with most of the positives. So the thing to remember is this thing does fly very, very well. Okay, it does fly well. It's molded EPP. I'm not going to bash it on the desk. It's too early. My head's not with it at the moment. But it's a tough little model. I stuffed it in the ground on 4S. But the reality is that the bit which has really annoyed me about this model is that the time which it took to get to the flight line. You shouldn't have to do hackery on the same section or the center section of the model just to get it to the flight line. And things could have been so much better. It was just one of those rare instances where I feel that perhaps it was over-engineered. It was over-engineered to the point that it didn't make it a good model. And it's not normal you should have to get the knife out and take huge, great big chunks out just to fit a battery in there. I have already decided this one is going to go on to a new home, so it won't be staying with me. But I was going to say, don't let that put you off. I tried to be as fair as I could in the review of that one, because if it does turn up for 30 quid or less, it's not a bad wing for 30 quid. Unfortunately, I paid quite a chunk more than 30 quid for this wing. As such, I class it as expensive, and I'm perhaps maybe more annoyed than what you would be if you'd been and purchased it for much less. So, yeah, it's an interesting one for the wrong reasons. So, that one, get a new home. So, let me just move across to your chat. And again, like I said, the HobbyKing one, I would normally wrap something like that. I'd try and wrap that something in later on, so apologies for covering that one first. Good morning, 1:24 a.m. Oh, a big hat tip to Elijah for asking the daft question in the Facebook group. Is there an RC coffee chat this morning? Because if Elijah had not typed that, I would have quite happily carried on doing the research which I was doing here this morning. Let's have a quick look. Brian Sauder says, I have a question about the S800 stabilizers. Can you explain the function of the modes? Brian, I've never owned an S800 with a stabilizer in it. I would guess, okay, and I want to stress guess, and you want to go and do some background research on this. You probably have 3 different flight modes: off, where it's full control, stabilized, and maybe a launch mode where it puts some elevator in it. That is a complete guess, but go and do some research on that. Remember, I've never bought an S800 with the flight controller in it or the stabilizer in it. So, yeah, Brian, that's as much as I know, to say the least. Cool. So Mia, sorry, I've just completely made your name. You know what I'm talking about there. Very angry because I cannot buy one LiPo battery from Banggood with postage to Croatia. You're not alone, fella. You're not alone. LiPo batteries are getting those shipped around the world is becoming more difficult. I know those of you, for example, which are in New Zealand, will cry all day long about the ability to get decent LiPo batteries into your country. So yeah, I feel your pain because I've seen it many times before. Now it's no crash mode. Yes, it's probably got one of those too as well. So Brian, if you stuff it in the ground, you can say, oh, I hit the wrong switch and I put it into crash mode. Good one, Alistair. Right, so moving on. This Skymunter. Let me get this one. So this thing is absolutely massive. I have half a wing here right now, and look how big that is. It's a 1.8 meter wingspan. It's mucking around with the white balance. There's nothing which I can do about that, I'm afraid. We have been laminated it. You can see that it's got a lovely shiny finish. Quick note on the laminating, actually. The way which we've approached this is we've done the awkward bits first, just like we explained in the laminating series. We've done the awkward pieces first, which are the two nodules on the top and the bottom. Okay, now to give you a heads up, I used E6000 glue on to hold the plastic bracket in and to glue the top section on. That did not melt the foam. It has worked really well. So E6000 glue is safe on the full size Skymunter. I know other people have had issues with that glue with EPO foam, but it does seem to be fine with this one. I've used it on my own. So yeah, coming back to laminating, do the awkward bits first, then start from the bottom. We've done a whole sheet all the way down through, folded it round the front leading edge by about 1 inch, and then put another piece on the top, cut around this section, and put that down too. One thing which I didn't like about the Skymunter is the hinge on here. The hinge is crap in here, so if you don't actually laminate your Skymunter wing, make sure you put some tape or just a thin strip of laminate or some Blendum tape down the hinge, because that hinge is not good. It will not last. You can, I don't know how well that's going to come out on the camera, but I can show you. Look, there you go. You can see it's cracking in there already, cracking all the way along that edge. It's not a good hinge at all. Oh, also, it does come with plenty of carbon fibre. I did add an extra bit of carbon to the main strip as well. So I got that sorted out too. And you may notice we have quite a few wires hanging out down here at the bottom. Now the reason for that is that I will be using, now here's the curiosity, because I'm pretty pissed at HobbyKing at the moment, I have been and ordered the Wolf box from Banggood, and I will be doing a series on Open LRS. But I'll be using the Wolf box kit for that instead of the Orange RX. So it'll be a great test bed. Basically, it's the same system. It's the same hardware. So we'll take a look at that. And you'll notice there's a collection of wires up here. We've got RSSI, we've got PWM, PPM output, and then I've got 4 channels set up is PWM output, so that I can have pan, I can have tilt, I can have a video switcher and 1 spare channel to do something else, maybe lights, for example, to come through. And I've set those up on channels 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, there is a lot of cables here, and I'll get to the label maker in a moment. One thing which I have had an issue with is that how am I going to be able to take this to a flight line and get those booms on? Because there's 2 great big carbon boomers which go out the end. And what I've been and done is get a bit of glass fibre tube, just use a bit of tape and a bit of heat shrink on the end, and extend it out. And one thing which I did have to do is that you'll see in there I've got some heat shrink tubing on there, so that when I push the tube on, this will pop out the end and I can connect that up to the elevator servo. And then what I'll do is exactly the same as what I do with my clouds, is that this longer cable is that I'll just tape it. Use some masking tape to store it on the up underneath the wing, and it's very, very simple. Now, we do have a shed load of leads coming out at the bottom, and that's the thing that is a challenge for us. So how do we get around that? And the thing is that imagine you're there on the flight line and all you've just got a handful of wires and you don't know where they go. This is where one of these little label printers comes in really, really handy. I bought this off eBay. I don't think it was that expensive. In fact, it eats batteries. Just to be aware, it takes, I don't know how many AA batteries you've got in there. It eats batteries for a pastime. Besides that, they are very, very good. And you can get cheapo cartridges for it as well. So what I've got, I'll use just one example. So you'll see on there, I've got channel 9 written on there. And then what I'll do is fold it over. Oh, I've got a pair of scissors next to me. Snip off the end. There we go. So you'll now see that I've got it folded over with channel 9 written on it. Like so. There we go. And I can wrap that around the wires. And of course then on the connecting wires inside the model, that now means is that when I'm on the flight line, I can't get the connections wrong. Because if I got the connections wrong and plugged up the PDM, like the PPM output to the video transmitter, because all I'm using is the same connectors, is that I could potentially put 12 volts down into my receiver, and that would be catastrophic. So on a serious point, little labels like that, yes, it does require some extra time to get set up on the flight line, in part of the build process, but every 5-10 minutes extra which I spend here on the desk is like 20 minutes saved on the flight line, because I'm not fumbling around with wires. I'm just going, oh, channel 9, clunk, jobs are good in, straightforward as that. And that is what I'm looking for, just to plug these things together on the flight line, and I've got labels, it becomes mat proof. So let me quickly look on here. Sean says, best of luck with the Wolf Box. I've heard good things, but the Wolf Box is paired with the Orange RX1 module as outperformed. It's trying that's odd. The Orange RX and the other ones, that they should go for longer. Much longer. I know from personal experience that the similar kit will do quite a long fair distance, should I say. So yeah, sorry to hear that in short, by the way, Sean's. Time for a label battery upgrade. Yes, indeed. Stick a LiPo in it. That's for sure. Right, moving on. What's the next topic which we got? Gone. We are missing a wing. Now, which wing are we talking about? In short, is that a couple of days ago, about a week ago, I saw Andrew Horseman, which is one of the guys which I fly with. Really, really nice guy. And I saw we were chatting about the Sonic model F1 wing, and he was saying he was going to get one. And he's literally only just been and got his nano talent as well, so he's lagging behind a bit. It took a while to get to him, etc., etc. So I saw in the Facebook group he was saying he was going to get one. So actually, there was me thinking, actually, Andrew's been really, really nice to me, and nice bit of karma. What goes around comes around. He's always been super helpful. So I messaged him, look, I just saw your message that you wanted an F1 wing. Do you want mine? It's pre-laminated. I've hit one tree with it, and it's got 2 little nicks either side. Besides that, it's mint condition. And yeah, so the Sonic model F1 wing has gone on to a new home. Not because, and I want to stress this, not because it's a bad model, is not because I didn't enjoy flying it. That thing was like a rocket ship. It was just straightforward. As I saw Andy was going to get one, and I thought, let's do Andy a solid, half price, here you go. And I'm sure you'll see it over on Andy Horseman's YouTube channel at some point. It's Heady 2008 on YouTube. So yeah, don't take that as a reflection on the wing at all. Circumstances came around that what goes around comes around, you know. Straightforward as that. And next topic is the FTC Hunter. Now, I need to go and get into my Bangers Orders page and dig this one out. I've been looking for this one for absolutely... it's been about a month it's been on pre-order, and it's finally been and turned up. So when I pop this on my screen, good morning to those of you which have just been enjoying this as well. So let me click on there. Fantastic. Okay, so the little FTC Hunter. Now, I'm sure many of you will remember, this was the wing which I was taking the piss out of their video, which had the heavily stabilized footage, which was no way coming from the wing at all. That was utter rubbish. But that's aside. I have been and bought the plug and play kit mainly. Okay, I'm going to stress this one right now. Time is at an absolute premium for me. So to have the parts in the kit, there's going to be no delay. I can just get it built and get it out the door, and I can share the experience with you. This one I've been looking forward to because it's a smaller size wing, and I'm kind of hoping, and I want to stress this, I'm really hoping that this one is going to be something which I can FPV in and around the house. Not like indoors, I mean outdoors, in between the trees and stuff like that. I've got a quad, as many of you know, I've got Emma. As many of you know what the name of it is, and if you don't, look up Emma on the YouTube channel. Yeah, quads are okay, but they're really not my cup of tea at all. I would be much preferring to be flying a little wing in and around. And so again, this one's not going to suit most of you. Okay, it probably won't be. Probably won't take being overpowered. It's probably got far too much dihedral. But I'm specifically thinking of a set of trees here, which with that amount of dihedral, it will stabilize it in. I'll be able to cut in and come back round. And some of the other kits I've got here, it's just not going to be up to grade to do that. So I'm really, really looking forward to this one, and it should, well, it's going to turn me up hopefully within like the Christmas period. So I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to take a while to get here. So yeah, kind of looking forward to that one, but for strange reasons, not normal reasons, not something to go crazy with, something just to have fun with it here at home. And again, remember, what was it? The Magnum Reloaded Acro version was purchased basically to just muck around in a very confined space. This one, hopefully I can improve the space with it. So yeah, happy days. Happy days. Next one, Two Motors Baby. Now this was, excuse me, I'll take a sip of coffee in a moment. Let's have a look in the Facebook group, see if I can find it. Because it was Bill's fault that I bought one. Now this has turned up on Banggood, but I've been and built it. There it is. There's the post. Let me get this on the face, on there. Get this on the right window. So Bill Hiscock, thank you, sir, for taking a photo of that one. Can anybody spot the unique feature about this wing? Anybody wanting to hedge their bets? What might be unique about this one? Yep. Two motors. It has 2 motor mounts on the back. So can you imagine? So it's about 1 meter wingspan. That's something in inches, and it's got two motor mounts on the back. So can you imagine a pair of perhaps SE 2205 2300 kV motors on the back, screaming their little nuts off? Could be quite good fun. Something which I've not seen in a production model. Now that was from fpvmodel.com. I've been and bought one. It's, fingers crossed, on the way to us as well. We'll find out what this wing's like. There is a bit of an oddity. Now, there is something which you've probably not noticed just yet, but it is apparent in the photograph, is that, can you see these winglets? Number one, they're made of wood. Number two, can you see the angle on them? Angle's pointing outwards, not inwards to tow the model in. They're outwards to channel the air backwards. It is rather peculiar, so there are some question marks around with that one. And I've not seen a twin wing before, so really looking forward to that one. I have actually spotted it's turned up on Banggood as well, but not available for purchase yet. Price-wise, can't remember, in short. So yeah, very, very curious one, and thank you, Bill, for posting a cool model in the Faceballs group. Yeah, thank you. So that one is on the way to us as well. Right, and this brings us on to Shout Out Corner, which is the time in time which I get to say a very good morning to you. Now, Elijah, I've just seen that you're on. Thank you, sir, for posting in the Facebook group earlier today, saying, Matt, are we going live today? Because without that little nudge, I would have probably missed today's RC Coffee Chat. So, Elijah, big thank you to you, sir. So with that said, good morning, Lauren. Good morning, RC Williams. Alistair, good morning. OMT, good morning. Anad and El, good morning. Elijah, of course. Jim, good morning. Brian, good morning. Les, Killer Dave, Anthony, Adrian, good morning. Dang this stupid password. Good morning as well. Sean's FPV. Robert, good morning. Scrolling up. Anthony, Steve as well. Who have I missed? Aussie, RC Flyer. Robert K, good morning. Or good afternoon, as the case may be. Or good evening. Anarchy Jory, good morning. Anthony, good morning. Andy, good morning as well. Drift Parts, Zomir, good morning. Henry, Mr. FPV, that's all I'm going to say. Good morning as well. Jeff, good morning. 7Demo7. Arthur, good morning. Shane, good morning. Who have I got? Go249, good morning. Says Pilot, good morning as well. Sven, good morning. Alistair, good morning. Paul, good morning. S-Rob, good morning. And I think I've covered everybody. If I've missed your name, I do apologise. It is not on purpose. Good morning, Phil, as well. And Mountain Dew Dude, good morning as well. I think I've been and covered everybody. Like I said, if I've missed your name, don't take it personally. There's quite a few people to go through as well. And by the way, you can see how busy it has been here in the chat here this morning. Right, this brings us on to the next topic. Oh, by the way, the last one was, it's called the Skywalker Smart. Okay, I forgot the name of it, but it's called a Skywalker Smart. So it does look pretty cool. 2 motors on a wing. It's got to be classed as happy days. And by the way, those of you which are going to give me some grief over the Tech Sumo, I will get round to sorting out the Tech Sumo with those extra at some point very shortly. Like I said, I'm running short on time at the moment. Right, moving on. The ZOHD Dart, okay, which has just completely killed the white balance in here. We had the maiden of this one last week as well. It was just as skitty as we imagined. Let me turn it around this way so it's a little bit better. It's just as skitty as what we envisaged, okay? You need loads and loads of elevator, which I'll get to that point in a moment because there is an issue with this wing and it's actually been designed into it, well, as the plug and play kit anyway. You need lots and lots of elevator and very, very little roll in this model because it is very sensitive. It's because of the forward swept wing, it's sensitive to the roll axis. So I think I was running like 45% or maybe less on the roll on low rates, and that really should have been like medium rates because it was that sensitive. Now, the one thing to point out, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this in the camera. Can you see that servo control horn? Okay. Let me make sure we just try and get this running straight to the camera. That servo control horn, just wherever it is, there. Okay. It's not coming out. No, it is coming out quite well. Can you see that servo? And look at my poor little peach up here. That servo control horn is pushed forwards. I suffered from having to put an awful lot of up into this model in the turns, and it turns out that not only does this model like a lot of up, there's actual mechanical, those servos have been mounted, the servo control horn has been brought forwards, so it's at a forwards degree, so we have less movement when the servo is pulled forwards compared to the servo being pushed backwards. And that's the thing, you can see it on the sticks. When you pull the servo forwards, the surface only comes up, let's say, that much, but when you push it backwards, it goes down loads. So do look out for that. If you've been and bought the plug and play version, okay, you most likely want to recenter your servos, control horns, and then sort out the trim on them, okay. The other thing which I noticed, again, I'll do a full review on it, I don't like this. Okay, this little catchy point on the end because it really did pick up grass in the end. You can see that one's dirty in there, and also the flight controller was. How do I explain this? The flight controller, again, I'm not going to diss having a flight controller or stabilizer in a wing. I think stabilizers are absolutely fantastic, ain't they? They are very, very welcomed inclusions on any RC model. Okay. I think they're very much welcomed, okay? But the one negative which I'm going to say is that there is no ability to change the gains. So they are the stabilizer is very much set up for average flying conditions, whatever average may be. So it could overreact on a lighter wind day, it could underreact on a windy day, and as such, what I'm going to do in mine is that I will be taking the floor out on here. The flimsy, well, I'm classing it as flimsy plywood floor on mine, and I will be taking that out, and I will be going for a bigger battery pack. I will be putting iNav in there as well. And there was one other thing which I didn't like. Okay, and now this is a warning for those of you which are thinking, oh, I'm going to overpower mine. This motor mount, I'm going to say, I'll move it around so you can see it. Okay, I'm not too sure that motor mount, that I've only had like 3 or 4 flights of this model. Okay, I'm not entirely sure how well this motor mount will cope with overpowering. So sticking a stupidly torquey motor on the back, you may run into issues with that motor mount. Okay, so just to give you an early heads up on that. Yeah, but the stock motor is 2,400 kV, and it's a 2006. It's a strange can size, but it doesn't scream its nuts off, and it does fly quite well. So yeah, a bit of a curious one. This one definitely does warrant some more time and attention. Remember, like with the what do we call it? That one, the S670. Like I said, that one's finding a new home. I've already decided that one. This one is not finding a new home at any point in the near future, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on that one, tweaking this one a little bit further. My other point, which is kind of handy because Black Friday sales on its way up, and these have been marked up to go on sale in the Black Friday sale, is that I do feel that they are expensive for what they are. So let's fingers crossed they come down to a sensible price in the Black Friday sale, and I'm sure that you'll like it. Again, I had concerns about mine, whether it was going to be thin wings like they did with the ZOHD Orbit flying wing, which is a very lightweight wing, and they had like air pockets in these wings. I was very worried about them doing it with this, and they have not done it. It is solid EPP, and I think it's going to do rather well. So yeah, that one is going to get some extra attention. Yes, Lauren, peach. We get the pledge out and we polish it. Let's have a look. I'm just pausing for a moment to have a look at your chat as well. I'm looking. You can see the chat on the right-hand side of the screen. I'm just looking down on here as well. Anthony says, thanks for the info, Matt. I accidentally bought a Dart when they were on special. Yes, accidentally on purpose is the saying for that one. I think you'll like it. Just go really careful on those server horn placements. Make sure they're vertical, maybe even a little back, because you rarely need copious amounts of down throw, and you don't need very much roll. Whatever roll you've got set up, normally half it. Okay, literally half it, and that should make it a lot more manageable for you. And also the mode switch for the stabilizer. I'm assuming that you've bought the one, the plug and play kit. You need a 3-way switch, and the down position on the Tyrannus is launch mode. It gives some up elevator. In the middle is off, and then up is stabilized as well. So I hope that helps as well. Right, moving on. Oh, night flying adventures. Let me just sort of get this up a second, so we find the video for you. This was absolutely fantastic. It was the first time I have been out night flying, in short, and it was absolutely brilliant. Let me go and pop this on the screen and click that there. So yeah, first time I've been night flying, and I 100% enjoyed it. It was such a brilliant experience. I just don't know how else to word it, in short. We had a lot of fun. We mucked around a lot, to say the least. In fact, we did the maiden of the Dart, and it was really strange. When I had the goggles down, when I first put them down, it was still like daylight, and then when I took them off, it was like, ooh, it's got really dark, and that's the thing. Right now, we've got autumn coming here in the United Kingdom, and things are getting dark very, very quickly. Now, with that said, we did enjoy an absolutely stellar flights out there that evening. I did put the Runcam Night Eagle on the Mini Talon, a camera which I've had here probably for about a year. Now, as the sun was setting, the video quality or the picture quality was fantastic. okay? Even when it got quite dark, it was like flying at daytime, okay? So we had one flight, and it was absolutely amazing. And the Night Eagle enabled me to enjoy a near daylight experience when it was not daylight, as the sun had almost just gone down, okay? We got the model down, and then we took it up for another flight after just seeing how fantastic it was when there was limited light available. However, when we went up for the second flight, I think I stayed in the air for about 5 minutes, if that. And the reason why I only stayed in the air for about 5 minutes or so is because the Night Eagle, unfortunately, isn't really night vision. And we were in the middle of nowhere. And I mean literally in the middle of nowhere. And as such, there was very, very little light, to say the least, and I was very much flying by the instruments. So I enjoyed the flight because it was a challenge flying with the instruments. I enjoyed the flight because it was a challenge landing. And both instances, I landed FPV. It was a good challenge. But the Night Eagle, there are limits to it. And I've come away from that experience with very mixed feelings about the Night Eagle. The reason being is because I've had very, very early morning flights with a Runcam Owl Plus, which is cheaper than the Night Eagle. And that camera will switch to black and white, and it will cope with difficult lighting conditions. And the Night Eagle is obviously better in lower light conditions, but it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. And remember, I'm very much more of a morning person. Maybe for me, the Runcam Owl Pluses are a better investment compared to the Night Eagle. I'm not buying another one. I have multiples of the Owl Plus cameras, but Night Eagle, bit of mixed feelings on it. Really mixed, because it did extend the ability to fly into the sunset as the sun was going down. But after the sun had gone down, no good at all. It was thick, muddy picture, and you could hardly work out what the grain was. I wish I got some DVR footage for it, but I was genuinely disappointed by it. I did change some of the settings on the flight line as well to see if I could improve it a bit, and no good at all, which was a bit of a disappointment, to say the least. Let's have a quick look. Right. Apologies, not 100% sure what's going on in the chat above, so we will skip on from there. Now that brings us on to the last topic of today, which is that I don't have an update for you as far as the Runcam. So as many of you know from last week and the adventures in the Facebook group, is that I bought a load of those silica gel packs from eBay. I bought 50 for £1.75, trying to get the damp out of my Runcam 2 camera lenses. They kept fogging up. And the thing is that the last time I flew with a HD camera on the nose was when I went night flying. And unfortunately, as you could imagine, it was a bit of a black screen with a couple of white blobs here and there. So I have no idea if the silica gel has been and fixed the Runcam 8.2 HD camera's fogging up issue or not. It's anybody's guess because I've got video footage here, but it's black. Completely black, and I've got no idea what's going on. So Henry says night flying with IR emitters. Yes, absolutely, that's the way we're going. I've been eyeing up some IR emitters to go on the wings and then up underneath the nose from Banggood. Now I need to go careful on the current usage for them, because you don't want to go and pull like 40 amps for a couple of IE. They're going to be they work out to be about an amp a pair. Okay, so you probably want to put a pair on the nose and a pair on each wing. So that's going to be 3 amps, which is going to be pulled statically for IRs on the wing. So that is something which I'm going to be investigating. No idea how well that's going to work, but they're pretty cheap. But it also does mean some modification to my Mini Talon, obviously to get wires out onto the wings, but also I need to put a switch in as well, and a remote control switch, because I don't want those IR LEDs on all the time as well. Cool beans. Right. James, nice of you to meet us, sir. Join us, sir. Right, so just for James, a recap of what we've been uncovered here in today's RC Coffee Chat. First of all, okay, apologies for screwing up the one a few moments ago, and apologies for being late this morning. The reason why I was late this morning is because, as many of you know, I've recently bought a BMW X5. However, she's got clutch issues. I took it to one company and they quoted me £3,200 to refurbish the box, blah, blah, blah. Took it back to the seller because I am within the 30 days window from purchase, which is very, very beneficial for us here in the United Kingdom because of the Consumer Summer Act. I forget what it's called. We took it to a gearbox specialist local to them, and they quoted $2,400 and also said it was a clutch issue as well. It's not covered underneath the AA warranty. So what I've been doing this morning is doing my background research into the Consumer Act and all the details about that and where I stand legally to ensure that I get a decent resolution to this. Very peculiar circumstances. I've never had an issue with a second-hand car before, and yeah, I need to make sure that I get everything right. And I am going to be out of pocket on this one by about £700 for work which I've had done to the car, but I am aiming for a refund on the car, and it's such a shit position to be in. And again, that kind of goes hand in hand. So this is why I was saying earlier about the first topic which we covered with the HobbyKing update. It's actually kicked into principle. It's only $10, but it's not even that. It's only like $9. It's not the case of it being $9 and I can be out of pocket for $9. It's the case that it's the principle of it. Saying one thing somewhere and then doing something else completely else separate to that is just a joke. So I have dug my heels in as far as the HobbyKing update goes. So yeah, I will keep you updated as far as we go on with that one. So yeah, and now you know why I was late. I'm still doing my research for the BM. The Reptile S670 review is now out. If you've not been into the review, I've tried to keep that fair. Someone mentioned, Matt, you try and do too many positive, your reviews are too positive. Well, I tried to give that one a very balanced one, and it is what it is. You can argue. If you can pick it up for 30 quid and you're prepared to chop 2 bits out and not put a spar in it, it's not a bad wing. It flies okay. In fact, an open invitation to anybody who is watching this. If you know of a shit model, okay, and please, if you know of an utterly crap, unbelievably terrible model which can be purchased, please let me know in the Facebook group and I will go and purchase it and absolutely murder it to its death, okay? I am struggling right now to come across a model which is bad, okay? Like I said, this one, wherever it was, okay, it has issues. It was over-engineered by a nerd somewhere along the lines, and they went too far with it. But the reality is, we're only talking 30 quid, $40, whatever it costs, you know? It's not the end of the world, and it is, you can work around it. You would not be disappointed, now knowing those things which I've shared with you, that it does actually fly quite well, you know, with a little bit of work. So I try and keep them as balanced as possible, but I'm struggling. Please let me know of a bad model and we'll do a bad review on it and we'll hammer it in the ground. Fuck it, I'll set fire to it, you know. You know I've got petrol here. You know I'll stick it in a cement mixer. But I am struggling. So if you know of any bad models, let me know in the Facebook group. We'll go and get it bought and we'll hammer the living daylights out of it. Because I am struggling. Honestly, we've had such a good run on RC models lately. What a good problem for us to have as a community. We've got too many good or half-decent models, you know? What a strange situation to be in. Anyway, next topic, Skymunter. My goal is try and get this one ready for Friday. I do have an Eagle Tree Vector sat here on my desk. I've just updated the firmware on it and I've just configured it to a normal fixed wing model. I will get this one sorted. My goal is to get this one flying for Friday, but I am very, very strapped on time to do that. So fingers crossed. It looks like a perfect day for flying on Friday as well. But we've got another wing to laminate. We've got a fuselage to laminate. and we've got to get it wired up and get some FPV kit in it as well. So it is going to be a huge challenge to do that, especially for somebody who has zero time at the moment, and I've got to go. I'm not in my office later today. I've got to go ferrying around trying to sort out this stupid mess with a car, which is very, very frustrating, as I'm sure as many of you can imagine. We spoke about Gone as well, the Sonic Model F1 wing. Remember, that is not a reflection on the wing at all. As many of you know, that if I don't enjoy a wing, then it probably goes on and finds another home, like that little S670 will do. But I do want to stress the F1 wing has gone to a new home, but for different reasons. Okay. The FTC Hunter, I am really looking forward to that little wing because it looks like it's small enough and it will be agile enough to get in underneath some trees here locally with me, which means I don't have to drive very far, well, at all, to be able to go and fly it. So I am looking forward to that one. I have bought the plug and play kit, mainly because of time. Straightforward to that. I wouldn't normally, as many of you know, I don't normally suggest plug and play kits. I normally always suggest going for just the normal kit, and you choose the components which go in. Okay, something which I do believe in. You genuinely get better components because you've had maximum control. You can choose better servos. You can put your own flight controller now. You can choose your own motor and ESC as well. So do keep that in the back of your mind. Oh, topic number 6 was 2 motors, baby! That's Sonic Smart. Oh, sorry, Skywalker Smart. 2 motors. When was the last time you saw a 2 rear motor wing? I don't think I've ever seen one. So yeah, that is being bought. It's, fingers crossed, on the way to us. We'll see that one shortly. We also spoke about the ZOHD Dart. Curious little one. This one will be hanging around for some future abusing and tweaks. I do feel it needs a few tweaks. One thing which you may have noticed, can you see that? It does need some carbonara in there. So that wing will be getting some carbon in it, because I do feel perhaps it's a little bit too flimsy. And I really do not like those servo connectors inside in there. Do we have a complete set? Flat Earth. Oh my goodness me, you are such a prick. Let me go and put this block. Bye! It's round. Like your helmet. What a knob. Anyway, so sorry, you may have seen that in the chat on the right hand side of your screen. And we haven't had a complete nutter like that for ages. Anyway, moving on. The ZOHD Dart needs some carbonara. It needs a little bit more work. Last but one topic, night flying. Absolutely brilliant. If you get the opportunity to go night flying, do it. Brilliant. But do not do it alone. Make sure you have a spotter with you, or somebody who's slightly more experienced, or just somebody who can coach you, as the case may be. So yeah, do not do night flying alone. It's because of the circumstances you're in, especially if you're going out for your first time and something like that. Get in contact with a couple of mates and stuff and make a proper event of it, and just have some shits and giggles, you know, like we did. That's what flying should be. It should be fun with friends on the flight line, you know. Simple as that. And the run cam, fried rice. No idea. We'll find out on Friday to see if that's been and fixed it or not. So, with that said, from myself, Matt, I'd like to say a massive thank you to you for joining me here for today's RC Coffee Chat. And again, I would like to extend apologies for number 1, being late. Number 2, screwing up the first RC Coffee Chat which we had. And number 3, perhaps not as well cut as normally is, and lack of links and stuff. I will go back and update the video description for you in a few moments. So if you go and check this video on YouTube in about 15 minutes, I'll put all the links and stuff in there, which we've been and discussed, and like the videos for the night flying, the review of the S670, and so on and so forth. If you have any questions about anything which we've been and covered here today, you've got 2 options. You can either do that in the comments section underneath this video on YouTube, or you can nip across to the Faceballs group. Now, a very shameless plug for the Faceballs group. There is, how many nutters? 1,954 nutters. Sorry, RC enthusiasts like myself and yourself in that group. If you've not been enjoying the group just yet, then The link to that will be in the video description in a few moments for you. Click the join button in the top right hand corner and you can join in with the chit chat in the background. As for example, there's me chatting about the label printer to tie up for all the connections which are going to be in the Skymunter. And I must also say, I'm biased, but it is a lovely group of lads and ladies which are in that group. I've been in other Facebook groups and they've been absolutely terrible. This one is quite different. It is a very helpful environment. So if you have been a member of the Facebook group for a long period of time and you have been helping out, big thank you, big thumbs up to you. You have made it to be a very enjoyable place. And to be honest, I don't normally post much on Facebook or go and look at other people's updates. I'm 99% of the time, I'm sat within that group there because that's where all the cool people are. Anyway, it is time for me to go. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this episode, and I shall see you again, same time or on time, next Wednesday. For myself, Matt. Cheerios! Oh, quick one. Henry, audio in the Vector, is it worth it? No idea, never used it, so that might answer your question. So, yeah, never used it, Henry. Anyway, time for me to go. Ta-ras!